When we left off yesterday, Fredrick Henry was finally given a firm diagnosis of his condition. He has advocated for himself, overriding his assigned doctor's initial prognosis in order to expedite his treatment, and now he's preparing to undergo surgery on his knee. My name is Trisha Slopizio. I'm your host for another episode of Tea and Bedtime Stories. In this episode, we will continue reading Ernest Hemingway's novel, A Farewell to Arms. Last time we read chapter 15 in book 2, and now I'll continue the story with chapter 16. After the reading, I'll follow up with a few quick facts and my impressions. So let's begin chapter 16 of book 2. That night, a bat flew into the room through the open door that led in onto the balcony and through which we watched the night over the roofs of the town. It was dark in our room except for the small light of the night over the town, and the bat was not frightened, but hunted in the room as though he had been outside. We lay and watched him, and I do not think he saw us because we lay so still. After he went out, we saw a searchlight come on and watched the beam move across the sky, then go off, and it was dark again. A breeze came in the night, and we heard the men of the anti-aircraft gun on the next roof talking. It was cool, and they were putting on their capes. I worried in the night about someone coming up, but Catherine said they were all asleep. Once in the night we went to sleep, and when I woke she was not there, but I heard her coming along the hall, and the door opened and she came back to the bed and said it was all right. She had been downstairs, and they were all asleep. She had been outside Miss Van Kampen's door and heard her breathing in her sleep. She brought crackers, and we ate them and drank some vermouth. We were very hungry, but she said it would all have to be gotten out of me in the morning. I went to sleep again in the morning when it was light, and when I was awake, I found she was gone again. She came in looking fresh and lovely and sat on the bed, and the sun rose while I had the thermometer in my mouth, and we smelled the dew on the roofs and then the coffee of the men at the gun on the next roof. I wish we could go for a walk, Catherine said. I'd wheel you if we had a chair. How would I get into a chair? We'd do it. We could go out to the park and have breakfast outdoors. I looked out the open doorway. What we'll really do, she said, is get you ready for your friend, Dr. Valentini. I thought he was grand. I didn't like him as much as you did, but I imagine he's very good. Come back to bed, Catherine, please, I said. I can't. Didn't we have a lovely night? And can you be on night duty tonight? I probably will, but you won't want me. Yes, I will. No, you won't. You've never been operated on. You don't know how you'll be. I'll be all right. You'll be sick, and I won't be anything to you. Come back then now. No, she said, I have to do the chart, darling, and fix you up. You don't really love me or you'd come back again. You're such a silly boy, she kissed me. That's all right for the chart. Your temperature's always normal. You've such a lovely temperature. You've got a lovely everything. Oh no, you have the lovely temperature. I'm awfully proud of your temperature. Maybe all our children will have fine temperatures. Our children will probably have beastly temperatures. What do you have to do to get me ready for Valentini? Not much, but quite unpleasant. I wish you didn't have to do it. I don't. I don't want anyone else to touch you. I'm silly. I get furious if they touch you. Even Ferguson? Especially Ferguson and Gage and the other, what's her name? Walker? That's it. They've too many nurses here now. There must be some more patients or they'll send us away. They have 4 nurses now. Perhaps there'll need that many nurses. It's quite a big hospital. I hope some will come. What would I do if they sent me away? They will unless there are more patients. I'd go too. Don't be silly, you can't go yet. But get well quickly, darling, and we will go somewhere. And then what? Maybe the war will be over. It can't always go on. I'll get well, I said. Valentini will fix me. He should with those mustaches. And darling, when you're going under the ether, just think about something else, not us, because people get very blabby under an anesthetic. What should I think about? Anything but us. Think about your people, or even another girl. No. Say your prayers then, that ought to create a splendid impression. Maybe I won't talk, that's true. Often people don't talk. I won't talk. Don't brag, darling. Please don't brag. You're so sweet. And you don't have to brag. I won't talk a word. Now you're bragging, darling. You know you don't need to brag. Just start your prayers or poetry or something when they tell you to breathe deeply. You'll be lovely that way, and I'll be so proud of you. I'm very proud of you anyway. You have such a lovely temperature, and you sleep like a little boy with your arm around the pillow. And think it's me. Or is it some other girl, some fine Italian girl? It's you. Of course it's me. Oh, I do love you. And Valentini will make you a fine leg. I'm glad I don't have to watch it. And you'll be on night duty tonight? Yes, but you won't care. You wait and see. There, darling. Now, all clean inside and out, tell me. How many people have you ever loved? Nobody. Not even me? Yes, you. How many others, really? None. How many have you, how do you say it, stayed with? None. You're lying to me. Yes. It's all right. Keep right on lying to me. That's what I want you to do. Were they pretty? I never stayed with anyone. That's right. Were they very attractive? I don't know anything about it. You're just mine, that's true. And you've never belonged to anyone else. But I don't care if you have. I'm not afraid of them. But don't tell me about them. When a man stays with a girl, when does she say how much it costs? I don't know. Of course not. Does she say she loves him? Tell me that. I want to know that. Yes, if he wants her to. Does he say he loves her? Tell me, please. It's important. He does if he wants to. But you never did? Really? No. Not really. Tell me the truth. No, I lied. You wouldn't, she said. I knew you wouldn't. Oh, I love you, darling. Outside, the sun was up over the roofs. I could see the points on the cathedral with the sunlight on them. I was clean inside and outside and waiting for the doctor. And that's it, Catherine said. She says just what he wants her to. Not always. But I will. I'll say what you wish, and I'll do whatever you wish. And then you will never want any other girls, will you? She looked at me very happily. I'll do whatever you want, and say what you want, and then I'll be a great success, won't I? Yes. What would you like me to do now that you're all ready? Come to bed again. All right, I'll come. Oh, darling, 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 I said. You see, she said, I'll do anything you want. You're so lovely. I'm afraid I'm not very good at it. Yet. You're lovely. I want what you want. There isn't any me anymore. Just what you want. You're sweet. I'm good. Aren't I good? You don't want any other girls, do you? No. You see, I'm good. I do what you want. And that concludes chapter 16 of book 2. A few quick facts. The anti-aircraft guns used during World War I were like 75 or 76 millimeter converted field artillery. I hate that word. But instead of being mounted on wheels, trains, or trucks, they're built on platforms, and they're usually manned by 4 or 5 men. and they weren't very effective for defense, for shooting down fast-moving targets, but they usually were a good indicator of incoming enemy aircraft, whether they were surveillance or fighter planes. And the cathedral that they're referring to is, there's a cathedral in Milan that I guess is the second largest, next to St. Peter's Basilica in Rome. But my impressions, I think the bat coming in, I know bats for most people are kind of ominous, but it may be like a good omen of sorts. I don't know, because the bats usually hunt for insects. That's why they're good to have around. Like a lot of farmers, my mom's family, they're farmers, and they would keep bats in their barns and stuff because they would hunt small rodents and things that would affect the crops. So it's kind of a good omen. And in a weird way, it's like a metaphor for, when the surgeon's coming to remove the unwanted fragments that are in his flesh. It's subtle, and maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it would be consistent with the author's style of leaving the subtext completely submerged. But when he describes the bat as unafraid too, I kind of got the impression it's like showing up in the form of encouragement to him right before surgery. But the description of them lying in bed together, it sounds really precious, but it's really sad. They're like children seeking comfort during a storm, which is what she said. He sleeps like a boy, and to me, that's creepy. It's not romantic at all. Also, I'm sorry, but her prepping him for surgery, like feeding him crackers and vermouth, is just dangerous before he goes into surgery. He could throw up and choke to death. So she clearly doesn't know what the hell she's doing, but she's just so desperate to please him. And it's just weird that she would feed him and then insist on giving him the enema herself. I mean, I'm assuming that's what they're talking about when she says he's all clean inside and out. That is so gross. I'm so sorry. But she's psychotic to me in a way. I don't know. If you're in love with their love story, then don't listen to anything that I'm about to say. But ew. And I hate to even call their story a love story, because it's not. And it's not a good one. It's trash, as my daughter would say. I mean, their dynamic is completely toxic. They're obviously trauma bonded. He has an avoidant attachment style. She has an anxious, well, they flip-flop. Sometimes he's anxious, sometimes she's anxious, sometimes she's avoidant, sometimes he's avoidant. It's just stupid. But it's the worst combination of personalities for long-term committed relationships. That's why they're called toxic. But the common term for that dynamic is the runner-chaser. Meaning someone's always running after the other and someone's always chasing. And it usually is characterized by extremely unproductive communication patterns. So because the way they communicate is not productive, they can't ever really build anything. And she's become an enabler for his alcoholism. And she's become possessive by taking ownership of him. I mean, they're both, in a weird way, losing their individual identities. He's trying to show how grown up he is for her, and she's just crazy, but they're becoming enmeshed in a weird way. Talking about their future children is ridiculous at this point, to say the least. But anyway, and it's sad because they're both being manipulative towards each other with the "you don't really love me" nonsense all the time. Like, she owns her desperation and he owns his deceptiveness. I don't know. I can't root for this couple. That type of relationship is doomed. because it's so superficial. It's not grounded in anything substantive, like shared beliefs or shared, values or worldviews. And it doesn't offer any of the benefits that a meaningful connection offers. It requires constant tension, right, to sustain itself, because one's always chasing, one's always running, because they don't know what they're doing. It's like absence, reunion, or standard practices, and it just makes it impossible to build or maintain like a solid structure to their relationship. Anyway, I mentioned all that to say that calling this a love story is part of the problem that I see with modern day coupling. Like, no one seems to understand what real love is or what it's meant for. So we develop these stupid fantasies around infatuation or friendship. And it's just a distraction or an entertainment for us. And we are failing to realize that it is damaging our emotions and it is damaging our psychological well-being. I'm really passionate about this subject personally because that's what I studied. Most of my life, but hard. I studied it hard when I was in my master's program. I focused on family communication and romantic attachments, and that's what most of my research centers around understanding and applying. So I see unhealthy and unhappy couples everywhere. I live in a college town, so they're everywhere, and it's of all ages too. I see adult people acting just as foolish as 18-year-olds. And I wish I could just walk up to them and explain what they're doing how it is going to hurt them long term. Like, my daughter texted me a few weeks ago, just saying how much she hates the fact that status is so closely connected with our relationships. Like, whether or not you have a relationship determines your social status. And I was like, preach, little sister, because I hate it too. And it's the reason that people stay in crap relationships, because somehow it's less humiliating than just being alone and being happy. How pathetic is that? Anyway, sorry, I was preaching there for a bit, but again, it's my show, so I do what I want. But if you thought that was boring, then I'm sorry. But I'm not boring. I'm awesome. You're welcome. Anyway, that's all I have for Chapter 16 of Book 2. Next time I'll read Chapter 17 of A Fell World Arms by Ernest Hemingway. So please join me for more tea and bedtime stories. I look forward to talking to you again soon. Thanks for listening.